Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Especially during these very, very dark, troubling times. Now, I've been absent from the channel for a good few days now. And you guys know me, I don't like being absent from the channel at all. I like to do videos every day if I can. And when I'm not on the channel, it means stuff, real life stuff has got in the way. Usually things that genuinely personally affect me and have repercussions and keep me off the air. But this week, there have been stuff, a lot of stuff, which has affected not just me, but everyone in the country, in the UK. And I have struggled with, do I talk about this? Do I ignore it and keep the channel going down the path that it's already well worn? Movies, merriment, mirth, merch, masks, just fun, and me drinking copious amounts of this stuff. Cheers you all. To your very good health and continued safety. But occasionally on the channel, as you guys know, the long-standing subscribers and viewers know, I will cover stuff that happens in the world. Events, tragedies, big stuff, assassination attempts, people going missing, monoliths, UFOs. I'll cover stuff that happens around the world because I've got a viewpoint. I used to do a magazine edition which could run for, in one case, 3 hours long, where I talked about a lot of current events and the kilted take upon those events. And they went down well. A lot of people loved them. But then a lot of worldwide, really nasty, heavy, big things happened. And I thought, if I start talking about all of this, then I'll never come back from it. And it's just going to go on and on. Let's just keep the channel on track. But this week, I've been asked by hundreds of people to comment on what's happened because they know I have a viewpoint on it, and a lot of people who know me very well know what that viewpoint is. So I've been wrestling with this for days now and watching events unfold and thinking, do I just ignore it and do a little spontaneous movie review, or review an action figure or a mask or something like that, play some movie music and just, which of course I am doing right now, and just forget about all that stuff and just have fun? And most of me wants to do that, but that other small percentage of me, which is my conscience, will not allow it, because something so bad, so heinous occurred this week, and the repercussions are so immense that I can't not talk about it, because, well, I just can't ignore it. And in a way, this will be a purge for myself, an exorcism for myself, to talk about it, get it out of my system, at least for now, and then we can go back to the usual Kilt-Man antics and all that. For those of you who are going like, what the hell is he on about? What happened? Well, if you've been living under a rock, then maybe you wouldn't know, because it's global. This news is global. We're now on Friday. On Monday, so 5 days before, at pretty much this exact time 5 days ago, 3 young girls in Southport at a Taylor Swift yoga and dance summer camp class were butchered by a 17-year-old wielding a curved kitchen knife. Not a zombie knife, oh no, not a machete, no, something that anyone can get hold of from their kitchen drawer. A kitchen knife. He took a taxi from his house in Banks, which is about a 10 to 15 minute drive outside of where the incident took place on Hart Road in Southport. Southport, by the way, is, as the crow flies, 20 miles away from me. where I'm sitting right now, 20 miles directly, 20 miles that way. A sleepy northern seaside town, as they often call it. And in fact it is. It's a lovely place. It has a great flower show. The Southport flower show is, you know, world famous. There's pubs and clubs there. There's a prom, there's a pier, there's all the things you expect from an English seaside resort. And but it is a lot. I know a lot of people there. We have friends who live right around the corner from where the incident took place, and they were there when it took place and heard the screaming. Anyway, this 17-year-old took a cab from Banks, went straight in to the premises where this was being held. I presume there were gardens there. The whole road is still sealed off. There were gardens, and it's a big building with, I think, other offices and other things happen in different rooms within this rather large building. And he then proceeded to stab all the girls. They were all aged under 11. He killed 3, and 10 more. There's 10 more in critical at different hospitals around Liverpool. Emergency airlift helicopters came in. It's big news. This is so people know what's going on here, because some people don't. I'm sure. The killer, they call him the suspect, was apprehended at the scene. That was erroneously reported at the time, that he was arrested back at his house in Banks, that 10 to 15 minute drive away. That's wrong. They caught him in the house. I'll talk about that incident because I know a little bit more about that. And a 17-year-old lad. Now, carnage, slaughter, outrage. The yoga teacher, Leanne Lucas, leapt in to try to save the children and was stabbed repeatedly. She's in a critical condition but stable. Apparently she spoke yesterday for the first time since the incident. A businessman who was either in a building next door or an office in that same building, leapt in to help and was stabbed as well, and he was in a critical condition. Now, 2 girls were dead at the scene. 1 girl died in the small hours of the next day. The rest remaining critical. Now, I think yesterday 2 girls were discharged. 2 girls were discharged, which is fantastic news. So, well, I'm going to say they're fine. They're not fine. Of course, who's going to be fine from this? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. The country is reeling from it. And I'll give you the names of the 3 girls who died, because they're angels now. B.B. King, age of 6. Elsie Stancombe, age of 7. Alice Aguilar, age of 9. Little girls at a Taylor Swift inspired event for little girls during the summer holidays. The most vulnerable and the weakest of targets. Don't know if you heard that. That's a squirrel leaping on our conservatory roof. Because nature goes on. No matter what mankind does, no matter what atrocities we commit upon each other and upon the environment, nature continues. It cares, but it carries on. So let's get the incident out covered. Just around the corner, you had 2 window cleaners sitting in their van having their lunch, playing music, and but they heard the screams and the shouts and the wailing and screaming. Turned the music off, and one of them, and I didn't write his name down, I should have done, I apologise for that. He leapt out and he ran to the incident, and he's probably the first person outside of it on the scene. But the event was coming to an end, so parents were arriving just as this was transpiring. Now, he got there and he saw a mother with a couple of kids, or a few kids, in the back of her car, all bleeding, covered in blood. and she was screaming, he's killing kids in there, he's killing kids in there. So he called the police, he called ambulances, he called everybody. And then he went into the building, and straight away he saw the killer, not the suspect, the killer, at the top of the stairs with the knife. He locked eyes with him, and his quote was, "I wanted to hurt him so bad." But he didn't do it, he didn't leap in, because, well, you don't know what to do. People react very differently. But the police arrived. He said it was an agonising 10 minutes. He said he smashed the front door so that the guy couldn't get back out again. I don't know too much about that, but the police arrived, and the first copper on the scene only had a baton. That was it. And he said, no, I can't do anything because he did taser. He's got a weapon. He did taser. So more precious minutes happened, and then another copper turned up with a taser, and then the three of them apparently took down this guy and apprehended him. So he was apprehended at the scene, not back at his house, which was first reported. I've said many times before about incidents that the initial reports are very often wrong. Now that's not any kind of conspiracy. They just get things wrong. It's Chinese whispers. It doesn't work. Verify stuff before you report it, but they report things immediately. And boy, did they not report certain things immediately. So now we know the plight. The murders and the attempted murders. Now, the one that did it, he's 17 years old, so he could not be named for legal reasons. Funny that they're very scattershot when it comes to naming people. Certain people of this sort of skin colour get named very quickly, even if they're underage. If they're a minor, they get named for incidents which don't even include murder. But if you're not of this sort of skin colouring, they won't name you. No. They're very adamant about that. So, in the vacuum of information about the killer, social media took over, and a name was bandied around, a very clearly Muslim name was bandied around, which whipped up a firestorm of vengeance, and we'll go on to all of that. But that name was wrong. The police, Merseyside police, because Southport, believe it or not, even though it's outside, it's way far away from the River Mersey and Liverpool itself. It is part of Lancashire, but oh no, a good couple of decades ago, a bit longer than that perhaps, was it the 80s? It became part of the greater Merseyside borough. It shouldn't be, and I know that they don't want to be either, but it gets cited on the news all the time. It's like, oh, it's a Liverpool suburb. It's not a fucking Liverpool suburb. It's way distant from Liverpool. Liverpool's just there. Liverpool, I mentioned that as a crow flies before, because where I am, I'm sitting at the northwestern tip of the Wirral Peninsula, and the Mersey is there. I could be with it. I could be at the Mersey's river edge within 5 minutes of getting up from this chair and crossing my drawbridge, obviously, and taking all the bows from all of the kilted clan outside. I could be there within 5 minutes. The River Mersey's 2 miles across. That's it. At its widest, 2 miles. So you're in Liverpool then. So Liverpool is just, I could virtually spit to Liverpool right now. And Liverpool has outer environs. North Liverpool obviously stretches a bit further on. And you have all the Sefton area. And I think Southport comes under Sefton. I think so. I could be wrong about that, but it was Lancashire. Anyway, why am I talking about that? It doesn't really matter in the scheme of things. It doesn't matter. But what matters is what came next. And the whole nation was in absolute shock and appalled, traumatised by it. The new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, I'm not going to say Sir and his name, doesn't fucking deserve it. He and Home Secretary and other people arrived and put wreaths outside. Now, he was heckled. How many more children, Prime Minister? How many more children are going to die before you do something? How many more are going to die? Now, to be fair to Keir Starmer, he's had to have made that photo shoot. He's had to have done it, of course. And I'm sure he is appalled. Of course he is. He's a human being, apparently. I'm sure he is sickened to his core. But he's also governed by means and powers and stuff above him. And ideologies which are too terrifying to combat, seemingly. So he arrives, puts his wreath down, reverence, silence, apart from the hecklers who are locals, who are saying, how many more, Prime Minister, have got to die? How many more are our kids? Is it my kids next? You watch the full footage. And there's a poor woman who's screaming and shouting and crying and sobbing in the streets, and they walk off. You've got your photos now, have you, Prime Minister? Have you? You've got your photos now. You've done your bit, yeah? Right. What happened next? See now, folks, this video, it may go off in directions, or it may go further down certain directions than I may have wanted it to do so. But I have never been so angry, enraged, disheartened, disillusioned than I have been in this week in this country. My country. Great Britain, United Kingdom. Oh yes, the Kilt-Man. I have Scottish heritage. We hate the English. But I'm born and bred in England. But the British Isles, Great Britain, is my home. England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland. As far as I'm concerned, that's it. And the other man. And Scunthorpe. Okay, and Scunthorpe. Why the hell not? And Hull, especially Hull. So, I'm enraged for many different reasons, as are a huge number of people around the country. Because what happened next was a riot in Southport, right around the corner from where the killings took place. And the very police and the media, the mainstream media is very fond of putting this forward. The very same police officers who attended that scene. Yeah, and what an appalling scene to suddenly find yourselves confronted with the slaughter of innocent young girls. You what? See, I could horribly go off on a tangent right now. I'm going to. I don't care what mental health issues you may have, what religious ideology you've got, what belief system you adhere to. You harm kids, you fucking die. You fucking die. This cunt should be skinned alive and dragged across broken glass. He should be. And same for anyone. Doesn't matter what ethnicity. You harm a child. That's it. Doesn't matter what. Oh, but he's got autism. He's got bipolar schizophrenia. He's got this. He's got that. Notice I'm saying he, because it's always fucking men that are doing it. Always men. He's got this. Oh, that's an explanation in some cases, but it's not an excuse. Oh, so you're stabbing me. Oh, wait, hang on. Why are you doing that? So, well, I've got mental health problems. Oh, I'm so sorry. Stab me more. Come on, keep on going. Oh, we're gonna let them off, are we? The problem with this is that it's happening all the fucking time now. Many people. This is the spark now. This really is the big one. But in recent weeks, there's been many other stabbings of people from an ethnic minority background who've done the stabbings. Lieutenant Colonel Mark Teaton from the Royal School of Engineering down at Chatham, Brompton Barracks. Who remembers this? It's only about 3-4 weeks ago. He was stabbed in full uniform in broad daylight. The guy that did it, yes, he's from an ethnic minority. And he shouted and chanted while stabbing this guy repeatedly. A lot of Islamic mantra. Just gave it loads. And then stood there and licked the blood off the blade as well, in front of many, many witnesses. And then when the guy staggered off, he pursued him again and attacked him again. The Lieutenant Colonel is actually still alive, but still in a critical condition. His wife heard the screams and ran out and threw herself on top of him to stop the attack, which did stop. And that guy was caught. And they said straight away, mental health issues. And they do it every time now. They will not name if it's a Muslim name. They will not say it. If it's definitely, it's not terror related. It's not terror related, because they know damn well what's going to happen, and they've known this for decades. The whole two-tier policing system, which we've seen in operation since Israel's response to the atrocities October 7th last year by Hamas. And we know this. They will let pro-Palestinian protests take place en masse, chanting for jihad and Allahu Akbar and all that stuff. They'll let that take place. But if anyone white and British or pro-Israeli gets involved, the police come down heavy-handed. Don't fucking say to me that they don't, because we know that they do. And I've got many more incidents of the heavy-handed approach of the police, who will come down. If you're white, they'll come down on you and they'll name you. But if you're Asian, Muslim, they'll say nothing. So let's reinforce that right now. Manchester Airport. That's 9, maybe 10 days ago, right? The incidents at Manchester Airport. Right, okay. If you don't know about this one. Straight away, imagery of police at Manchester Airport kicking an Asian man in the face while he's on the deck and then stamping on the back of his head. There was absolute uproar. Manchester police. And of course, a lot of Muslims then. Rochdale police station. A massive mob, about 1,000 strong, gathered outside, chanting Allahu Akbar and giving it loads of placards and slogans, very threatening behaviour. The police did nothing. Let it happen. And then, get him suspended. Get that. That is a disgrace. Andy Burnham, you're a fucking disgrace. Look him up. Another fucking cunt. And same as Steve Rotherham from Liverpool. Fucking wankers. Pair of absolute wankers they are. So they call for a massive investigation. Oh God, this guy should be, he should be arrested. You got to suspend him. They did suspend the officer. It's all on video. And then the full video comes out. And it took the press to find that, because the police weren't going to release it. The police responded to a fight taking place in Manchester Airport. An Asian family were going to meet their mother off the plane. The mother had allegedly caused trouble on the flight with a Pakistani family. And then when they're waiting for their baggage, a member of the Pakistani family was nudging her with his luggage trolley. So she called for her family who were waiting. And the two brothers, the two sons, leapt in and a fight broke out. The police turned up. Airport police are armed. So they turned up. They've got weapons. They've got guns on them. And these two brothers didn't give a shit. And the full footage shows them leaping into action, flooring, decking and punching repeatedly several police officers. One's in a headlock, one's getting punched about 7 times in the head. A female police officer gets her nose broken. You see it, boom, and she just hits the deck and just sits down. Boom. That happened before the incident which was first revealed to us. So a copper having seen his mates get fucking done in, leaps in there, and in the tussle, the guy gets tasered, but he fucking boots him in the face and then stamps on his head. You know, context. You see? You watch your mates getting done in. What are you going to do? Well, you've got to uphold the law, obviously, but context is everything, folks. These guys were beating the shit out of the police. But the police allowed a massive protest outside their own cop shop to take place, and that's all over the news. You know, calling for it should disband the Metropolitan, police force and Manchester Police, and all this other bullshit. So, in the aftermath of the killing of these 3 beautiful little girls and the attempted murder of so many more, and a name comes out, and it is the wrong name. It is the wrong name. People are investigating this now. Was it Russian interference? Because they do it every day. Russia and China tries to incite a lot of racial tension with social media. And if they did this, then they do. Oh, job well done, because you really did it there. In Southport, not far away from the very place where these kids were slaughtered. A massive riot, a protest took place outside a mosque. And now, look, I do not condone riots in the least. I've been involved in crowd control for riots. This is 3 times, and they are terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And they will get out of control. A protest, it just takes a few hotheads to make it incendiary. A protest is fine. You protest, I'm going to cause trouble. I'm going to tear someone's garden wall down and hail them through the windows of a mosque, and then set police vehicles on fire and overturn them. All of which happened in Southport the very next day after the slaughter, when the whole nation is in mourning for these kids. And then this happened. But hang on. So it was quick to be labelled as a far right riot. Thugs, louts, this is criminal mentality. Well, it is criminal, but there's a damn good reason why this was happening. It was anger and hostility to not just the slaughter of these innocents, but an ongoing situation, which is only getting worse in the UK, of the failed multicultural experiment. I mean, fucking even Baron Frankenstein made more ethical experiments than what this has been. Stitching dead bodies together and energizing them with lightning bolts and creating monsters. That has more moralistic value than what they've done in this country. Because what's happening in this country now happened in France and is happening in Germany. And we didn't learn the lessons. No, we didn't. No. So, riots in Southport. It didn't end there. Riots in Whitechapel, in Leeds, in Manchester, I think in Birmingham as well, and in Hartlepool as well. Yeah, and the far right was condemned. Now, arrests have been made. Now, it pains me to say this, but because their narrative is that everyone in the Southport riot came from out of town, took trains in there, or were bussed in there, or people carriers and all that. But they all arrived en masse with the fake name, the Islamic name. So, right, that's it, and we're going to take that mosque out. So they all arrived there. I think 10 arrests were made. The figures could be wrong here. 10 arrests were made, but half of them were locals. So to say that, oh, no, you're hijacking the tragedy, the horrific events in Southport and making it your own for the far right. You notice in this country right now, well, in fact, anywhere, I suppose, you've got the hard liberal left, which is extreme, by the way. Liberal should mean anything but extreme, but that's what they are. And then you've got the far right, You either agree with them or you agree with them. If you've got any differing opinions, there's no middle ground. You are hard right. Me would be labelled hard right, far right. I'm not. I'm fucking not. I'm so fucking not. If you don't know me by now, then, well, drink up some more and you'll get to know me even better. I'm not. I would love nothing more than a cohesive society of multiculturalism where a neighbour can live by a neighbour with a different belief, a different skin colour, and we all get on great. In fact, I do get on great. I just bought this from my good mate in the corner shop, and he's Asian. And I walked in and we had a laugh, we had a bit of banter, we always do it. That's just a microcosm, but that's around Wallasey. That's what I find mostly. But that's not the way it is around the rest of the country, where tons of immigrants get dumped overnight, and suddenly swamp a small town or village. But are you hearing that on the news? The mainstream media? No, you're not. Look what's happening in Ireland, Éire and Northern Ireland, with immigrants, mass immigrants being just dumped somewhere, and they're not taking it. They're rioting as well. And UK, well, mainland mainstream media doesn't report upon it, but we know it's happening. I know it's happening because I've got mates all over the Emerald Isle, so I know what's happening, and it ain't good. And it's prevalent here. So in the wake of these killings, that's the blue touch paper, that's the spark. More riots and protests are planned for, well, I say riots, they probably are planned, but protests are planned and they've been announced for this weekend. All around the country, all around the UK, in many cities. Liverpool has got one. London has them. So what did Keir Starmer do? You know, I forget who came up with the term Starmageddon, but that's perfectly apt. But Starmageddon is going to happen. He's only just become Prime Minister of the UK as well. And, but we inherited all this, you know, from the Tories. Now, I hate the Tories, but I hate these cunts even more. We inherited all this. You guys did it back in the 80s and the 90s, and every government since the 70s has put this in place. Opened up the borders, mass immigration. Integration hasn't happened. You have a huge percentage of communities who can't speak English. Other countries, if you want to go and live in that country, you've got to learn their language. And if you don't know it to begin with, then you will have to learn it. And you have to abide by their rules and laws. Not in the UK. You come here and bring your laws and beliefs with you, and you enact them on our streets. And if we argue, we get done. How is that right? Well, it's not, is it? It's not. If I go to your house and you've got rules, or you must take your shoes off, well, I've got to, I won't be there for long when I show my hooves off. If you say, you take your shoes off, well, I've got to do it. That's your house, it's your rules. Likewise, you come to my house, you won't be here for long. You come to my house, then you abide by my rules. And I'm very lax. Simple as. So a country, you go to live in someone else's country, or you go on holiday there, you abide by their rules. What has stopped this country from applying that simple, fundamental rule of governorship? Governorship? Is that even a word? Where's it all gone? It's gone. And it's gone because they're afraid of what will happen. And they are, because they know there's too many have come in. Too many. They didn't shut the borders down, and they're still allowing. If you want to go and look at the stats for the last few days, since I think last Friday, we've had over about 1,300, maybe 1,500 illegal immigrants have arrived in this country. Because it's totted up each day. It's tallied up each day. And where are they? Well, they're not deported. They're not sent on ships back. No, they're not. They're allowed to come in. They're not. There's no record of these people. They've got no idea about their background. And who are they all? They're all men of fighting age. There's very few families, very few kids that come over. It's men of fighting age. What's fighting age then, Kilt-Man? Well, 16 to 35. And that's what's coming in. At that rate, in a week, 1,500. And often it's more than that. Coming in, and the process of deporting them and analysing them doesn't exist. Border control, border police, more wankers. Maybe they're not, but they're governed by bureaucracy and politics. I know, 36 years, folks, 36 years working for the Ministry of Defence, serving with the Royal Marines, working for the Cabinet Office in the final few disastrous years, when I realised exactly how bad things were going. If I hadn't quit, I was about to quit, and then suddenly redundancy got offered. So a lot of us took redundancy because we couldn't stand what was happening. Not because, I can't be arsed with working anymore. I loved the job I was doing. But the bureaucracy and red tape that I had to go through. And what was I doing? Come on, can you remember? Long-standing viewers. The final job that I had, and it was for years and years, I was vetting people. I was vetting the police. Afghans, translators coming in after the fall of Afghanistan, or disastrous, not withdrawal, retreat, tail between the legs. Mission failed completely. When we come back, but ministers and other civil servants, and a lot of soldiery as well, a lot of military. So we were doing security vetting for these, and we knew straight away there was a huge problem. This police officer has a criminal record as long as your arm. He's going for a job in the police, or he's going for a promotion in the police, or he's trying to get a higher level of security clearance in the police. Many Met officers, firearms unit as well. Rape, GBH. I'm not making any of this up, by the way. I'm not. Rape, GBH, paedophilia, and having, paedophile imagery on your computer systems and all that. And so we highlight all this, but so not one person's culpable. This was United Kingdom security vetting. Headquarters Infal Barracks in York. A former Gurkha headquarters as well. Gurkhas are still there, and the Gurkhas are great. Gurkhas are sound. My God, their cookouts are incredible. But so we were doing this, and me and my team, Liverpool based, were spotting. This copper? Look everything he's done here. It wasn't just police, but the overriding majority were. And we were like, going to our line management, they can't get the job, surely. But it wasn't down to us. We were just basically fact gathering and going out and getting more information on these individuals. And it was a very interesting but disillusioning and frustrating job. And then you find, well, yes, they got the job, they got in the police. Yes, they got the promotion. Yes, they got the higher security clearance. What? And then, of course, in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe a bit longer, how many coppers, especially Met police officers, have revealed themselves to be serial rapists, massive racist beater-uppers, and paedophiles. Yeah, fucking loads that have made headline news. I can tell you now, there's a hell of a lot more than that. A hell of a lot more. I know, because I've fucking worked on their cases. So when redundancy popped up, I thought, I haven't got to quit. I'll take that, I'll leap at that, because I can't deal with this cesspit anymore. So, Keir Starmer met with all the police chiefs of all the constabularies around the UK yesterday. to map out a plan of how to respond robustly. That fucking term. We'll do it robustly. We'll have a robust response. Robust. You just bust because you're all a bunch of tits. That's what you are. So we sat with all them and then came out with this Sturm und Drang fucking speech. The thugs of the far right. We're going to use facial recognition. We're gonna, like we did with the football hooligans, we're going to track and trace them. We're going to stop them before they even go anywhere. They won't be able to get on a bus or a train. The far right, the far right, the far right. What did I say about what happened in Southport? Out of, I think, 10 arrests, 4, maybe 5 of them were locals to Southport. Hartlepool, locals. Whitehall, I should say, not Whitechapel. Oh, by the way, do watch the footage of the riots at Whitehall. By the way, again, I'll say it again, I do not support rioting. I do not. Civil unrest is a really nasty, horrible thing. But when you've driven the nation, well, we'll come on to this, the reason why these things are happening. Yes, you can say the far right can hijack things and other extremists can hijack things. I said earlier, hotheads in a crowd can incite violence, and people get swept up into violence when they don't, even when they don't want to. It's totally anathema to their behaviour. They don't want to do it. But if you're suddenly surrounded by people who pick up bricks and start smashing windows and you can't get out of it, which you should, by the way. I have given ways of getting out of crowd disturbances in previous videos, and if you want me to talk, I'll talk more about that. But there are things to do, and you should do them. Don't get involved in protests. I don't. Don't get involved in any major big events full of crowds of people. Gigs, just celebrations on the street. You should be able to, but I've been trained that I've seen how these things can go horribly wrong, and I don't want to be involved in it. And I advise my family and friends never to do these things. And I know, oh, what a fucking killjoy you are. Well, yeah, but I'm alive. But I've seen people who died during these things horribly, so I know what can happen. And I hate crowds. Sporting events, yeah, I mean, I fucking Liverpool, I fucking love Liverpool. Do I want to be at the match? No, I don't. I don't like being in crowds. I know what crowds can do, because crowds become a tsunami. It may be one person, 2, 3, 4 people that spark it, but it becomes its own monster with its own momentum, and people, albeit innocent, get swept up in it and suddenly commit crimes which must haunt them. But you don't want to be in that environment. Anyway. So what happened in Whitehall? Well, watch the footage. You've got the clearly obvious thuggery elements, that invests. They're going like this. Oh no. They're hailing bricks and bottles and fucking setting off flares. They were doing Nazi salutes in front of the statue of Winston Churchill. Oh God, for fuck's sake. But you have got the element of dickheads there. But who did the police arrest? Who did they arrest? Watch the footage. Lots of it. They made something like 100 arrests, 111 arrests, I think it was. A lot of 111s in it, like. And watch it. A 75-year-old man was knocked over on the curb and then set upon. Not beaten, but 5 coppers in riot gear then manhandle him and drag him off. A 73-year-old woman is handcuffed. 73-year-old woman, and she's going, I'm just standing here. People are making their own protest of what they see as being the stealing of our nation, of our culture on our streets. And they weren't throwing bricks or doing anything illegal, but the police pounced on, yeah, you guessed it, the soft targets. You don't go and attack, try to arrest the big bully boys who can fight back. Because you got your asses handed to you in Manchester Airport. Okay, and the response, I totally agree with. Yeah, kick him in the fucking face and stamp on his head. I fucking agree with that. I do, fucking do. But then you go and break your own fucking values, which we're kind of like, yeah, the police should be able to kick ass, but you're kicking the wrong ass again. You're kicking the white people, and you're kicking the old and the infirm and the people who aren't doing anything wrong. I'm just standing here. But you're, watch the footage. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be standing here. Well, hang on. If you're arresting me, what about all those 150 people down there throwing bricks? Why are you not arresting them? But you're not, because you're too afraid to go near them. So you arrest an innocent fucking guy. What the fuck off. Fuck off. I knew I'd go into areas I didn't really want to venture into. And boy, have I done that in real life as well. Cheers, y'all. So, Keir Starmer, what did he do? He had his meeting with the police chiefs, and then he makes his big speech pandering to the ethnic minorities and denouncing the British people. That's what he did. That's exactly what he did, folks. Watch his fucking speech. Ridiculous. We are going to create a unit, and it is his fucking nasal voice as well. I can't imitate it. We're going to create a national police unit, a fast response unit, which they already have, by the way. And whenever there's a riot in a city or a town, police forces from other constabularies will attend. So they've already got that. We're going to use facial recognition. We're going to stop them getting on trains and buses and that. We're going to, all the big players, we're going to identify them and stop them in their tracks. We're going to monitor their activity on their phones and social media. Big brother. Although they do it. Thing is, they do it anyway. They do it with terrorists. So they do it with these guys. But the thing is, a huge majority of these guys are not actually violent criminals with thug intentions. They're not. They're concerned people from the streets of the UK, whose streets they no longer recognise. I'm not just talking inner cities, because the way things have happened now, with all the immigrants coming in, and all these, refugees and, oh God, whatever. Oh, you're going to spend the untold millions in aid for the Ukraine and for other issues elsewhere, but you do fuck all for the people here. In fact, Keir Starmer and your fucking pissant politics, you're going to take out, the cold weather payments for OAPs. So in effect, you're condemning them to death. Let them fucking freeze, because they can't afford to pay their heating bills. You twat. You twat is what you are. You're a spineless twat. As are most of governments, not just Labour. Tories were the same. The people of this country want their country not necessarily back. That's, we want our country back. Our country's still here. But if you want integration with other ethnic minorities and other ideological, you're never going to get that. Kilt-Man, shut your face right now. You're never going to stop ideological fucking beliefs, because they are just... But other ethnic and religious minorities, they're fucking majority now, are coming in all the time. You had an imam who wanted to make an inner Hebridean island a new Mecca. Did you hear that? What? What? Scotland has got this bad, by the way. Really, really bad. And again, it doesn't get reported on in mainstream media at all. But again, I have lots of friends in Scotland. Of course I do. And I know the shit that's taking place up there. Weak politics, absolute liberal, poncy-assed, pathetic procedures and agendas. And they always push the other agenda. I know how this sounds, folks. I know how this sounds, and I fucking didn't want to do this. I want to talk about movies. I want to have fun. Let's have fun, but I can't, because An atrocity in Southport has sparked what a huge element of the UK population believe. You're being lied to by the authorities. They withhold the names of these people committing horrific knife crimes, butchery on our streets of innocent little girls. Yes, this guy may not be Islamist, and I don't think he is, unless he's been radicalized somehow. But they have given his name, of course. He's 17. If I'm repeating myself, I do apologise, but let's go through it again. Let's name him anyway. 17 years old. He's Rwandan, a Rwandan family. He's born in Cardiff. He wasn't. A lot of the fake stuff came out that he came across on a boat last year. He didn't. He was born in Cardiff. That is true. But his parents are Rwandan. He and his brother, I don't know if there's a sister, I don't know any other siblings, are Rwandan by heritage, British by birth. But he goes in, and I mean, Rwanda is, I think it's like 90% Christian. It's only a small percentage is actually Muslim. So, but the name got bandied round was a Muslim name, so it inspired hate and vitriol. But that hate and vitriol was already there to begin with. This was just the flare that kicked it off. And I don't think, you know, the fact that we now know who he is hasn't changed a damn thing. But so he goes to court, Liverpool Crown Court. He was there yesterday to be formally charged with 3 murders and 10 attempted murders and other sundry things, carrying a bladed item. Fucking knife is what it is. Bladed item. Shove it up your ass. I mean it. And sideways. So, and the judge waived his anonymity. Did I say that right? Anonymity, anonymousness. They lifted reporting restrictions. If you're under 18, your name should not be made public. Although, as I said way earlier, they do selectively. If you're a white person who beats up someone of a different colour, you'll be named, and you're underage, you'll be named. Oh, they do that. They do that. But if you're of that other persuasion, doing someone who's white, no, they're protected, and it's mental health issues as well. So they named him. Let's give his name again. Axel Muganwe Rudakabana. Axel Rudakabana. Axel Rudakabana. Axel Rudakabana. Who killed B.B. King, Elsie Stankham, Alice Aguilar. I don't give a fuck. I'll name the cunt. So, the judge lifts restrictions. Why did he do it? The guy was under 18. He's officially a minor. Yeah, I'd love to see him working down the mines. Yeah, as if. You know what I mean? He did it because the news vacuum, people are putting other ideas and other names into the frame. So I'm going to do it because of that, to stop the disinformation and the misinformation going on. And also because this twat, this murderous cunt, turns 18 in a few days' time. So I have to name him anyway. So he nipped it in the bud. Liverpool Crown Court. I used to drink right beside that in the Queen's. It's now got a stupid bloody name now, the Queen's. But the Queen's was a great 80s and 90s booze. It was fucking boss. Loved it in there. So many great nights. So much fun and frivolities. And I still love Liverpool. I do. Despite Steve Rotherham. Fucking major. Fucking dick. So, anyway, we have more protests planned. When I say we, not me, there are more protests planned all over the country. The Edinburgh Fringe started today. Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is fantastic. God, I'd love to be sitting there and promoting that. I'd love to go. In fact, you know, I said to Mrs. Kilt-Man before she went for work this morning, something I don't do anymore, of course. I said, oh, Edinburgh Fringe Festival, we should go to it. But again, after I said it, I went, oh, is something going to kick off there? I don't want to inspire anything. I know I really should be careful what I say. Haven't been so far, have I? But again, there's street venues, there's clubs, there's pubs, there's all sorts of stuff taking place. Clowns, music, comedy, performances, stage stuff, poetry, everything happens at the Edinburgh Fringe, and a lot of things you didn't expect. And it should be enjoyed by the masses. But as I've said repeatedly, if you can avoid things, then you should avoid things. I love city centres, I love events. I still go to many, but I'm fucking forever. And it's hard, it's genuinely hard work. How am I going to get out of this? How am I going to get you, and you, and you out of this? If they come from that way, someone comes from behind me. Is there a way out of here? Where do we go? What do we do? If the media is there, if the police are there, if you're being photographed, what do you do? Because I said before, you could be completely innocent of any crime. But if you're spotted in one of these things, oh dear, what did I say about Keir Starmer and Starmageddon? Facial recognition. Yeah. They use events like this, tragedies like this, to usher in new laws. Now, in some cases, that's perfectly fine. A terrorist atrocity, yes, that's fine. I mean, no one's ever going to argue with that. But why are they not labelling any of these as terrorist acts? The attack on the Lieutenant Colonel, mental health issues. Numerous other attacks lately, mental health issues. And they've already said about this cunt. Let's say him again. Axel Rudakabana. Or he's got autism. So what? So what? Just killed 3 kids. And injured a whole 10 other people. Most of them kids. Are you joking? So what? Skin him. Skin the fucker. In court, because no photography was allowed, you have the press artist does the little sketching, and has been widely reported, he sat there through 2 hearings, one in, was it in Southport, initial hearing yesterday morning, and then he went to the Crown Court in Liverpool. He sat there in both cases with his cardigan, his jumper, pulled up to here. And he's got fucking, his hair's all over the fucking shit. It says me. I mean, I can't skip that. But his face, his clothing was pulled up to obscure his face. So he knew that. He knew enough to do that. I'm not saying he's radicalised. I don't know. It hasn't been said. But you won't get that from the fucking police. You won't get that from the authorities. They're not going to say nothing. Because they're terrified. If they do come out with that, yes, he genuinely was. Kaboom. Not Kabul. Yeah. This has been a horrible, horrible week, folks. I have agonised over what I'm going to say. As I said before, I was like, well, just don't talk about it. Talk about something else. But I've not been able to sit and watch a movie. I've not been able to do it. I cannot get my head around the killing of innocent young girls. I can't do it. And the Rochdale grooming Pakistani men who were... And this went on for a long time. And the figures of the girls who were multiply raped and groomed, underage girls, is... Fuck. It's something like 3,300 girls who were systematically groomed and raped by this Pakistani gang. Not just in Rochdale, but in other towns and villages as well. And of course, the police, Manchester police, were like, Oh, we can't say who they are. And for a long time, they kept stum about it. And then it came out. Why did they keep stum? Because they're terrified of offending. There's a play on words in there somewhere, offending. Of offending this ideology and the people of this religious persuasion. So you see, undermined, suppressed, and we are just us, are like, oh, segregated. You step out of line and say anything wrong, we're going to cut them down like a ton of bricks on you. But if they do something, don't say a word. It's not terror. It's not terror. And don't give his name or his ethnicity. Don't do anything. Don't say anything at all. It just happened, and then forget about it. Please, just forget about it. I didn't want to do this. I did not want to do this. I want to talk about films. I love movies. But I had to get this out of my system. And I've got a really horrible feeling that we'll be talking about this more. You guys are going to have your own opinions. Of course you are. Of course you are. I'm going to say right now, if you're still watching, I may not respond to you because, look, it's incendiary stuff. And I've said what I feel to a degree. But a lot of you know me. A lot of people around here know me. A lot of people in different fields of life that I've been involved in know me. In my heart of hearts, it's live and let live. For fuck's sake, I don't care what you believe in. I don't care what colour your skin is. You do whatever you want to do. But don't hurt anybody, you know. And integrate. If I go to your country, I have to. And I have to adhere to your laws. You can't come here and expect to bring your laws and beliefs and stamp that on our communities. You can't do. How? I mean, at the very least, it's not fair. I'm simplifying things here, but it's not right to do that. But you think you can get away with it, and our authorities are allowing you to do so. They are empowering you. What do they know? What are they genuinely afraid of? A big jihad, a big uprising, if suddenly they condemn Islamism? Is that the case? Could be. Could be. I don't know. I do know many people who are still involved with the army and politics. People who went from the military into politics. I've seen both sides, but I know people now who really know both sides. And what they say is not good. Is not good. I wish I could say otherwise. I wish I could say there was a way out of this, but there isn't. You know, oh, the horse has bolted. Yeah, the horse has bolted, but it brought an entire armada of other horses with it. And it didn't bolt away, it bolted in. They're here. Here they're the magpies. The magpies, well, that's very apt, I suppose. The magpies move into other areas and steal eggs, kill babies, and take over nests of other places, other trees and roosting places. And we have an enormous amount of magpies here. That wasn't meant to be like, you know, a metaphor, but it is. It is. And you can hear them now chanting. No. Folks, there's a lot more to be said, and Keir Starmer completely missed an opportunity there to address the real people of this country. He didn't do it. He just completely, the far right, pandering to the liberal far left, mentality. Dropped the ball, missed the point, and only fueled things even more. Conspiracy theorists will say, well, he's done it on purpose because they want this to happen. They want this to happen. More riots, more unrest, more V for Vendetta taking place to bring in more laws and completely subjugate us and make us like China. Basically, make us like China. So you can't do anything. State-sanctioned TV. There'll be no social media other than what's governed by the ruling authority. Is that what they want? It's happening in America. It's happened in Canada. Chinese are ruling, that side of the pond. But Europe is taken over by a different element. And it is taken over. The summer of discontent is now unfolding. As I say, there are things planned for this weekend. I know what I'm saying probably gets taken, you want this, I don't want it. I want people to fucking get on. I want people to just be happy, but they won't be happy because it's not worked. They don't integrate. So if they did, it'd be great. And I'd embrace it. But it's not happening. It clearly isn't happening. And to just lump the far right as being, it's just that, it fucking clearly isn't. 75-year-old man pushed to the curb, 73-year-old woman handcuffed. Locals from Southport being arrested. It's grassroots British people who are not going to take this any longer. And to subjugate them and label them as thugs without addressing the real underlying problem, which it is just politics all over. The underlying problems you made happen. You, Keir Starmer. You, fucking Rishi Sunak, and all the fucking knobheads before you all allowed this to happen. You reap what you sow. But you'll be all right. The country gets fucking flambéed. You'll be off. You'll be off to your little fucking islands whenever and looked after for the rest of your life. Because you're the elite. You're okay. You don't live on the streets. You don't come from the streets. You've got no fucking idea of what life was like on the streets and what it's become. You never have. You never will. So you're always going to be wrong. And yet you are making the rules for us. You're allowing this to happen. And you are. You created this problem and you've created it and you've nurtured it. And what you did yesterday, Keir Starmer, what you did yesterday was a fucking travesty. You didn't once address the problems of the people themselves. You just, come down on the far right, wait, But not what's really happening and the real unrest and the reasons why there is unrest. Because you're too fucking afraid. You pathetic weasel of a man.
But Kilt-Man, we inherited this from the Tories.
No. You helped incubate this with your fucking massively lefty extreme. When I was growing up, there was always a far right. There was never like a far left. And like the liberals were just, hey, anything goes. Liberals now, oh yeah, transgender and all that. Oh god, yeah, you get into a female boxer gets into the ring with in the Olympics only just yesterday with this fucking bruising man. Oh no, she was born with both chromosomes. Fuck off. It's a man who beat the shit out of her. Look at her. fucking Algerian fucking man bitch. Fuck this. It's all going wrong. It's a war against reality. It's a war against our identity. It's a war against everything. It won't stop until we people that look like me, and trust me, there aren't many that look like me, until we're wiped out or just subjugated and enslaved. Oh, I fucking said it, didn't I? I weren't meant to do that, but there you go. Please comment below, let me know what you think. As I say, I expect vitriol and don't care. I'll say right now, if you are gonna comment and be antagonistic, fuck you. I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna bother responding. I really don't care. I've said my piece, and if you don't like it, well, hey, you don't like it. But I've said it, and there's no more reason to explain or clarify anything in any comments. I have said everything here. If you're not sure, just go back and watch it again. And weirdly, folks, as you all know, I'm the most happy-go-lucky fella ever, but this week has really took me down. I've been places, seen things, I've done things for Queen and country. I don't say anything lightly. I just want to live and let live, but it's not happening, and there's a reason why it's not happening. And we're heading for a real maelstrom of carnage. It's already happening. How many more people have to be butchered on the streets? We had a good debate in the pub last night. Oh, in the pub. Oh, Kilt-Man, you went to the pub and you talked about all this. Oh, that was incendiary, wasn't it? I was talking to people at grassroots level who all share the same beliefs and opinions and values, and some are a bit more aggressive, but most are not. Most are just like, oh, I just don't want any violence. We could all live and let live, and I totally and utterly agree. But you have to be honest. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened, and it will not happen. Mankind has proved so many times it cannot get along with its brothers from a different country, a different belief. Doesn't work. It's never worked throughout history. For fuck's sake, it doesn't work. The fucking magpies are going like, I don't know if they're agreeing with me or they're dissenting. I don't know. I do love the wildlife though, because the magpies do come in and they are bastards. They are nature's bastards. They really are. But they're also beautiful creatures as well. It's fascinating to watch what happens. We have foxes, we have weasels and stoats, we have bats as well. Bats are phenomenal. And we have butterflies, because our garden is a wild garden. And so we have everything is in there. And it's just wonderful to watch. It's like a fucking Disney movie half the time. Like, you're just waiting for like a fucking song to come on, like, and they all help you get dressed in the morning and clean the dishes for you. They don't do that. But we have so much wildlife that it's refreshing to go out there and just enjoy that and bask in the air. The cacophony, which it is, at 4 in the morning, the birds are waking up and giving it fucking loads. My God. And we have seagulls now. Seagulls used to be they were the bastards that ruined Llandudno, Llandudno, Hull, Southport as well. Southport. Any seaside resort or town, hamlet, seagulls, they swoop in. I've seen them do dive bombing campaigns in Llandudno where they've took out, people are sitting outside a cafe with a glass table. Oops. And they've got little cups of tea and bone china and coffee, and a fucking seagull's come in and took the whole thing out. Like a fucking kamikaze. wow, the whole thing is just, and everyone's been skittled because they're big. Well, where we are now used to be a bit of a fishing port. A lot of fishermen used to have their boats, little boats, a few trawlers, and the Mersey and that, like going out into the Irish Sea and the Mersey estuary. They would do that. That doesn't happen so much now. It does, but there's not many. We have fishermen along the prom, but it's not now a fishing port at all. Hasn't been for a long time. But no one told the seagulls that, because the fucking gulls are here and they're impressively fucking, again, you know, the metaphor is huge, isn't it? They've taken over and they're making their voices felt. I can't believe how that turned around. I didn't design that at all. I was talking about wildlife and birds and stuff, but it comes back to what's happening. Taken over. By the vocal minority, who will soon become the violent majority. I don't know what the answer is. I don't. Nor do you. But it takes a lot of people to come together, to think and to talk sensibly, politely, diplomatically, to work out a solution, because we need one. But government doesn't understand what real life is like. They never have done. Never have done. Government is the province of the elites. They've been to fucking universities and colleges and all that, and they've been privileged. Oh, and don't say Rishi Sunak. Oh, you couldn't afford Sky TV. Just don't. These assholes have no idea what it's like to live in the country that they supposedly govern. Gotta remember that. Government. We elect them to govern us. But they promise all sorts to get in there and then just shit all over you. And hang us out to dry and leave us at the mercy of assholes, barbaric assholes with bladed items. Bladed items. We're bringing new knife laws in. Yes, we are. We're going to ban this, that, and the other. This cunt used a kitchen knife. You're going to ban kitchen knives, are you? So we won't be able to go to a single restaurant ever again because there'll be no knives involved. It's just a spoonage. And then they'll serrate spoons. Oh, I've given another idea away there. And we'll spoon someone to death. You fucking dickheads. You're trying to put a plaster on a fucking chainsaw evisceration. Too late. Too little. Nothing. UK government is pathetic. Pathetic. The Russians. Oh no, not the Russians. Kilt-Man, not the Russians. The Russians would take them out and shoot them in the back of the head. They would. Because these guys can't do fuck all right. Nothing. Oh, give Keir Starmer a chance. Give him a... He's only been here for a couple of weeks. Don't give a shit. I know. You take charge immediately. You do stuff immediately. But the stuff you're doing immediately is setting in place something which has already been in place for decades. You knobhead. Yeah. Facial recognition and a united police force to deal with civil unrest and riots and disturbances. They do it anyway. You pathetic waste of flesh. Oh dear. Well, Kilt-Man, we can't take your opinions seriously because you just sit there and drink whiskey all the time. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh. I know me stuff. I know what's happening. I can see it. I'm not blind, drunk all the time. And you know I'm fucking right as well. You know I am. Folks, I hope to get back on track with proper stuff. I'm sorry if a lot of you don't like. Oh, I don't want to hear about current events. I don't want to hear about the news. I know. I've preached so many times, don't watch the news, don't watch mainstream stuff at all. Don't. Just go out and deal with the day as it happens. Hello, how are you? And I do that. I've always preached that. Say hello to everyone. At least acknowledge them. You might be the only person that does it that day, but it could mean a hell of a lot to them. Doesn't matter what the fucking colour of their skin is. Just do it. But if someone's in trouble, help them. Don't fucking just stand there, film it. Don't do that shit. Get in there and help them. Mankind has been absolutely watered down and emasculated. Womankind. So you've got to, oh God, it's so many fucking different things now. You're one or the other. Put those gloves on, but forgive me, but you look like a man and you're fighting a woman. No, I'm look at my passport, I'm female. Okay, well the Olympic Committee will agree with that then. Go on, and good luck. Poof, poof, poof. Fucking knocked that poor girl down and destroyed her within 46 seconds. Because it was a man in shorts and boxing gloves taking on a woman. Oh dear. I'm going to say again now. My heart goes out to the families in Southport. And everyone in Southport, everyone around the world who's aggrieved and shocked by what happened. Because sadly there are people who are not shocked and aggrieved by what happened and will actually applaud it. There are, and those cunts are online as well. But the three girls, BB King, age of 6, Elsie Stankham, age of 7, Alice Agula, age of 9, and the barbaric swine that did it. Oh, he's got mental health issues. Well, did no one pick up on those? No, you didn't. Using that as an excuse? Yes, we are. Axel Rudakubaya Ubana. Axel Rudak Ubana. Rot in hell. You piece of shit. Rot in hell. See now, my idea would be to fucking, as I say, skin him alive and drag him across broken glass in the hot blazing sun. And then rub salt into whatever wounds he can still feel while still hopefully alive. But you've got to think about these things. Keeping them in prison for a lifetime of beatings could actually be even better. But we've got no prison spaces, have we? Oh no. Oh, but
We're going to create more prison spaces. Yes, we are. Because
yeah, so you're going to arrest all these rioters and all that, like, and put them in prison. Yeah. But you've got no fucking prison cells left because it's overwhelmed, and the justice system is 2 years in backlog. 2 years in backlog. Yeah. Thank you, Prime Minister. Yeah, that was very educational and articulate. Folks, be happy, be safe, be healthy, be yourselves. Do not be afraid. Be whatever you are, but don't hurt anybody. Whatever your belief may be, That does not give you the right to hurt anybody at all, unless they're already hurting somebody else, in which case, fucking kill them. Ooh, simple, inflammatory, not really, common sense. You see someone getting kicked to bits on the streets, leap in and help the person on the streets being kicked or knifed to bits. Help them. I don't know. Am I talking complete bollocks? Some will say yes. But it is what it is. Kilt-Man has spoken. And Kilt-Man doesn't know the answers, so don't, And I know I'm going to get I'm going to get millions of private messages and stuff like. I know. I won't be able to answer everyone. I will not be able to. I wish I could, but this was a purge for me. It's out there now. So please take it on board and be sensible. There's ways of fighting this, but it doesn't necessarily involve setting police vehicles on fire. But they are the obvious target because they're the force of authority which you're trying to rampage against. But sadly, it doesn't work. But it's going to get worse. I know it's going to get worse. You know it's going to get worse. And then there'll be the retaliation. And that will be. When that happens, oh dear God. Folks, I happen to wish I would Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and it's ever, be safe. Look after your neighbour. Just be polite and tend your own garden and don't look at the bigger picture. If everyone did that, and Scrowy, my good mate Scrowy down in Australia, the land of ours, he said this, and it's brilliant. It's genuinely fucking brilliant. He said, don't look at the news anymore. He knew about this. He said, I don't look about all this Southport incident and the way it's kicked off. He said, I don't look at the news anymore. He said, I just will look after my own and look after my house, my property, my job, my friends, and I don't look beyond it. And if we all did, and he said that if we all did this, the world would be a better place. Because we're all looking after our own and not trying to cause trouble. And if we all did that and got on with our neighbours, it'd be, well, it wouldn't be Earth, would it? It wouldn't be mankind, because mankind cannot do that. But Scrowy, mate, your words really hit home to me, and at a time when I was absolutely, I don't know what I'm doing. Do I do this video? Do I not do a video? Do I talk about action figures? Do I talk about, I don't know, Wolverine or Furiosa? It's in the big Furiosa standee. I will do a video on that and its compadre, which is over there, because we scored a massive Furiosa standee. Most of you going like, who gives a shit about that? Well, we do, because Furiosa was brilliant. Anyway, folks, please be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid. Tempers are really, it's a lava pit right now of anxiety and rage. You've got to remember, there's many families in Southport who are suffering real grief, real tragedy, the worst nightmare you could ever imagine. They're going through that, and they may well think some of the same things a lot of us are thinking, but for them right now, they've got to grieve, and the ones who've died, they've got to grieve and remember them and honour those and come to terms with it. And the ones who have survived, but they've gone through hell. They've gone through sheer blood-curdling hell. I don't know. I don't even know how you begin to patch that together again. But we should stand by them and don't cause trouble on their doorstep. Don't. Please don't do that. For God's sake, don't do that. They've been through enough. They've been through too much. Don't do it to them. Think about that. Your rage can be directed elsewhere, and you can coordinate it correctly, diplomatically. But the rage, I know, is there. But please don't upset that neighbourhood, that community, those families anymore. They didn't want it. They sent their kids summer holidays to a kids class of, Taylor Swift, fucking dancing and yoga and making bracelets. That's what they were doing. Little girls. It's the summer, the sun was out there. And then you get this. And then the families have to deal with that. And then don't do it there. I know it's going to happen. I know. But if I've got any sway whatsoever, I haven't. But please don't do it. If you're gonna cause chaos somewhere, I know you are. I actually genuinely know you are. Don't do it in Southport, for God's sake. Please don't do it. Please. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do it.